Alright, so the point of this stream is to kind of like serve as a guide. Well, not really. Okay, it is a guide. Pretty much a guide to the tower and everything I have to say about it. Things that I like want to talk about when I built the tower, maybe like some part of history, stuff like that. And I figured it would be good to do all of that in just one stream. So here we are. You can take the scenic route. This lobby is actually really pretty. I guess in the meantime we can talk about how the tower was made. I think it all started when I was checking some of the CSD channels. I think it was one of the building channels there. And I saw this tower called Tower of Vertigo. This was also a TOBF remake, sort of, or like a spin-off, whatever you want to call it. And I kind of didn't really like it. Well, I liked it and I disliked it on one hand. Because I liked it because I saw someone just building what they wanted without like caring for what other people thought about it. At the time at least, that's what I thought. Things turned out a bit different with that person, but whatever. And on the other hand, I disliked it because it just didn't do the tower that much justice. I mean, I thought there was quite a lot of opportunity to be had with a TOBF remake. And Tower of Vertigo didn't really capitalize on any of them. Oh. Hello. I wonder if he knows I'm alive. Anyway, so I decided, you know what, I might as well pick up Studio, get to learning it, and just build what I want. Bro, fuck this guy. Okay, good, I'm not sharing my full screen. For a second I thought I was. But yeah, that's pretty much how this tower was made. It took around a year from start to finish, and then I kept tweaking it as well. Yeah, nothing else. So the beginning of the tower went through quite a lot of changes. It was a lot more monotonous to play at first. This jump was easier. Okay, bro. Wait, I should probably turn all jumps mode. Bro. Okay, so these were once walkarounds. Got replaced. This was a much more janky platform. And that was some annoying ledge crap as well as this. Pretty much this entire first section was a lot slower at the start of the tower. But now it's been made into something you can pretty much go through in like 5 seconds. Let me see if I can do that. You see like that, it's very quick. And I think that's really important for replayability. Otherwise you'll just feel like you're losing your mind. For the first parts of the tower there's really not much to say. Other than that jump is a little bit hard, I guess. That's about it. Oh. This first one jump. It's not very special on its own, but it kind of encapsulates what I wanted to do with the gameplay of the tower itself. You notice beforehand this stud sticked out a little bit, so you could just align well, press D and space, and you would just like land it every time. But now if you want to land it right, you have to like tap W at the end. That's what I wanted to do for a lot of the jumps, where I wanted you to do like at least 2 keybinds or like 2 movement keys and turn your camera substantially. Pretty much anything to keep the gameplay more engaging and less straightforward. I think that's why the tower, for me at least, is so fun to play, because it always feels like you're doing something. This part sucks though. I'm actually planning on pushing a few changes, and this all gets replaced with like 1 jump instead of just 3 head hitters, which will be a lot nicer to play. But I'm not sure when Blockerman is gonna push this. This jump used to be cooler, not much to say about it. There used to be like this bouncing truss over here. Not in there anymore. Oh yeah, this part. I still remember making it like as one of the first things I built, because I mean obviously I built the tower in order. But this was kind of the point where I realized I wanted to mess with the routing as well. I think that's one thing that TOBF did really interestingly. And yeah, so I built this thing. Just launches you this way. I couldn't really think of a more spectacular way to enter the second half of the first floor. Things that... oh wait, I was already at the start. This is the second time that you see one of these fading platforms. Not really fading platforms, but they act the same way. They're only not fading platforms because at the time I didn't know how to use this. So I just put a spinner there and called it a day. 1 second. Turn this down. I kind of fought it like as I went with the development, but it was applied more after I finished floor 10. Floor 1 got revamped to have more of those types of jumps, but it was something I had in mind the entire time. Oh yeah, another fun part of floor 1 is it just kind of throws you around all over the place at least. Here, it just does it again. You go this way, turn around here, and you go this way again. This is one of the newer jumps on floor 1. It sticks out like a sore thumb because of it. You used to go like over here on these wraps, but that was a bit boring. Now you just go into this lodge. Okay. Like that. And go this way. This is pretty old gameplay and also pretty old structuring. I think it kind of shows. A lot of this is pretty self-explanatory. Here's another one of those jumps that you have to like tap W at the end for. And now we're almost at the end of 1. This part used to have some gameplay in itself. This was later sent to floor 10 because it only extended floor 1 way more than it needed to. And it was also pretty boring. This was also like another example of what I meant with like I wanted the gameplay to be a bit engaging. Like this is sort of the way I do it. It's like I launch really quickly, but you can launch however long you want. But I want it to be possible to at least do it quickly. Why am I getting called by Skitsuna? Yo. Oh, alright. DOEV Tuesday. Oh my god, of course. I gotta turn your stream all the way down. Anyway. This part was also a lot more boring at first. Just some basic thrust flicks. You having fun on one FTO? I'm having a lot of fun. Are you enjoying 2 of TOEV? Oh. Oh, my bad. Should have known it was COEIV. Anyway. So, this is now one of those conveyor lodges as well. This works really well. I'm afraid I'll have to like nerf it anyway because it's a little hard, but I'll miss it if I do. This jump is pretty fun too. You gotta go as low as possible to hit that button. Okay. You should also ideally do it in one swoop. You're really likely to fail if you don't hit it the first time. You aren't talking to me, right? If I was talking to you, you would know, trust me. So then go this way. Go this way. And then this way. And now you're at the end of floor 1. This jump, I've seen a lot of people like try to all jump the tower and they get hard stuck on this. So I'll just explain it right here, right now. This is a push lodge. So the faster you turn, it will just work if you do it really like this. Just turn really quickly. You can do it as fast as you want. I've seen people try to like land it like a normal wrap, and that is stupid. That is just stupidly hard. So just do it like this. There you go. And back again. And this is the end of floor 1. Floor 1 used to have a more elaborate ending over here. Let's kind of see if we can make it without touching that insta-kill. Surely, right? Okay, there we go. You had to like go over here, up here, and then do these jumps, and they were pretty boring. See, here's like burned. But that's been replaced, luckily. This is already the start of floor 2, but I guess it's only really starts when you go inside here. Oh, there's also a bunch of these windows on the tower. These were added pretty lately. I think they work. I don't know why. It's just nice. Having like one front window alone is just kind of... it gets a bit predictable. Anyway, I like this. When I built this part, I kind of had it in mind to like induce a bit of fear of heights. It's, okay. Nice. Like, you can just see where you would fall if you messed up here, which I think is always fun to do in the tower. This jump you just use W and D and it becomes a lot easier. That was kind of the point of this jump, to like introduce the whole WD mechanic. Well, I guess not introduce it because it's not unique to this tower, but I wanted to like put it in the tower. And with me, I actually mean Skid, he added that. Speaking of, I think this tower would have been like 500 times worse if it wasn't for his help. There's like a bunch of neat little things that are gonna be coming up soon that you can attribute to him. That part also used to have to go there. That has just been made shorter. These are one of the very few walkarounds in the tower. I really can't remember any other time when we used them other than 4 or 5 maybe. This was also one of those X pushers, but I replaced them with these things. You just go in there, turn at the end of the lodge, and you're in. This is also I think the first time I actually built like one of these lodge walks. And this is what I mean with one of the things that Skid did. This like small pole. I don't know how, but by some miracle, just like found this. And as scary as it looks, this is pretty stable for at least like 10 full seconds. So you can exit these like lodge walks really easily. It makes them from like a nightmare to where you have to like get as close as possible to the edge of it, to actually really not that bad. You'll see those later in the tower as well. They are really nice. So now we're at the first outside of 2, I think, or the second one. I like this part. It was more inspired by like actual floor 2 of Tower of Blind Fate, and it kind of just leaves you looming over the edge here. Those 3 roots at the bottom really help sell this wall. Another thing, again, like I said earlier, one thing I like about TOBF is its very obnoxious routing, and I wanted to put it in here as well. So this jump just sends you all the way down to the bottom of floor 2. This section, once again, is pretty scary. You can just see everything below you. It's a very big difference between like a GBJ or a standard like soft lock and just putting you above the void. Like mechanically they're the same thing, but it feels very different. Oh. I'm honestly not very fond of these jumps, I just kinda made them. But I guess they're not that bad. Floor 2 is pretty long though, so I decided to just change the song in the middle of the floor for some reason. I said for some reason, I just told you exactly the reason. This part used to be pretty janky, but now it just goes by quickly. Yeah, we're not really at the interesting parts of the tower yet, I'll be frank. Even like history-wise. Granted, there's not much history about the tower anyway, since it's pretty recent. And a lot of the development was also quite linear. Like I just went from 1 to 10 and then went back and patched some things up and that was it. Oh. For this jump you have to like, well, it says it over here, turn as much as you can. So you can hit that elevator thing as much as you can. I realize I'm not doing a very good job at showcasing the tower if I go into first person all the time. But here's where we are. For this, you just get into that conveyor lodge. And now we're at the roof of floor 2. There's a bench to sit here if you like to. Or if you fell here. This is I think the tower's first corner flip. Okay, bro. These jumps are very easy in first person. This part used to be like so much worse. Hang on, let me just get there first. Okay. No, it's fine, I didn't want to get there anyway. So what? Yeah, this part is kinda hard. Okay, there you go, finally. That is, I promise you I landed like every time normally. So anyway, originally this jump was like intended for you to hold W here and then quickly like release it and then hold it again. So you could grab it properly. And then you could like slowly make it down here and then land. However, no one likes doing that for floor 2, so you can just like do like this. It's been made easier. This jump got buffed in a way that requires you to do a lodge there. I kinda like it. Out of all the lodges in the tower, that one just is a little bit different. Pretty standard stuff here. And now the routing is taking us back. Okay, bro. And now the routing has taken us back to the start of the floor. One second. Anyway. These are once again pretty straightforward jumps. Oh, I guess they're not. Okay, that is not as hard as I just made it look. For this part you have to like hold space on the elevator to give you enough height. And then you just go up here into this one stud gap. This jump is a little bit weird, but if you just do it aggressively, it will work out. So now we're back at, well, the start of floor 2, but like the actual start of it. And well, that's about it really. Oh, this jump is pretty nice. Thing is, these spinners don't actually kill you fast enough to like force you to bounce on them. So you could actually just go up here and then shift flick off. But you are intended to just like hold space and go like this. For this jump, you just kind of hold W and A the whole time, and then when you exit it out, you hold W and D. Makes it a lot more smooth. There's an elevator over here, so you can go this way. I remember like I was kind of trying to mimic the structuring and routing of Malefic Nuisances for some reason around this time, but that's kind of hard to notice at this point. Not much of that stuck really stuck true. But that's the end of floor 2. That is probably the longest floor in the entire tower, but I imagine it will take us just as long to go through some of the other floors. Beginning of 3 is pretty straightforward. This part was like replacing a lot of old gameplay over here. Like at least 6 or so jumps got replaced by just one conveyor lodge. But these conveyor lodges that go upwards are still really fun to do. Especially when you have like everything of the tower is below you. It makes them much scarier. At the time I was quite proud of how I structured floor 3. A lot of it was stuck on the wall, but these like little panes sticking out, I like them. Especially this one. Like once again, you're just left dangling above the start of the tower. Okay, you can just do this, I guess. I don't know, maybe I should close Skid's stream. It's not exactly helping with the performance. Skid, just let me know when you get like a COIV, and then I'll open it again. That should do us some more favors. This is also a jump I really liked, where you just had to like leap, you just throw yourself across the void onto this tiny cylinder, and then on these tightrope wraps. This used to be 2 walkarounds, but you can now skip the first one. This jump just sucks. Not because it's hard, but because you have to set it up. I think I nerfed it when I like updated the tower a few days ago. I remember building this part and being really proud of it. You just jump into this lodge walk. Okay, not like that. And then you have to like make your way up here. I felt like it was pretty fun to do while also having a little bit of tech. This part is also a lot easier than it looks. This part is a little harder than it looks. I think this was one of the more recent additions made to the tower. There's a couple ways of doing it. What was intended was for you to do it like this, but it's actually a lot easier to just do it that way. That's what I would recommend anyway, even if it looks scarier. Well, this used to be a long jump, so I put a text here called long jump, but that got changed, so the text had to change as well. This part you used to have to like just go around it, but I just added a corner flip to skip the entire process. Oops. This part is also changed in the latest version. There's like a conveyor lodge here. Makes it a little more fun. I remember this jump gave some people sometimes trouble, but if you know how slopes work, you'll be able to easily do it. Pretty much you need to get enough height to catch the thrust, and if you exit a slope on an angle, you see it like gives you a bit of upward momentum. Same if you do it on this angle, it gives you downwards momentum. Look how quickly you sink versus if you do it this way. If you do that, you can easily get the height you need. Okay. This jump is not that hard. Come on. It's also one of the last jumps of the tower. Of floor 3, not of the tower. Now these buttons, when I was gonna use buttons in the tower, I wanted them to be colored from the original Tower of Blind Fate, so this is the first one you'll see, and it has the neon green. Activating it does this. So this is the roof of floor 3. This part I still remember building it. It was like, this specific formation appeared to me in a dream once, and I was like, I have to put it on TOF. Very arbitrary decision. It also used to have more chairs, but I think Blocker removed them for optimization. What a shame. I do like it whenever I can base some parts of the tower off my dreams though, because again, it makes them very arbitrary, but that gives them a lot of character as well. Like, it really makes no sense for this ledge to be built the way it is, but you're gonna remember it now for, well, the way it is. Anyway, the roof of floor 3 has one thing we need to do. We just go this way. And go this way. And get that button inside of the truss over there. This used to be an actual failable jump, but it's actually pretty alright now. We just go this way. And exit again. It was very conveniently placed right above this crevasse though, so if you failed it somehow, you would just go all the way down. But now the arrows have changed on the floor, pointing to the zipline. I was gonna put a telescope here because I was also in a dream, but I just never bothered with it. I mean, it's fine. This is one of my favorite parts of the tower, the transition from 3 to 4. Like this giant zipline, which is so much fun to build. And it really helps with the sense of scale with this tower. So now we're at floor 4. Ooh. I didn't know you could see it this far. Oh. What this means is like, starting from floor 4 and onward, you have to like these weird ass words on the start of each floor. Once we get a proper view of the tower, I'll show you what it actually means. For now, we'll just get to floor 4. I have no idea what I was thinking when I built this part. This is a really strange bit of gameplay. The more I think about it, the more I realize how out of place it is. But it's here. If you want to consistently just hold S the entire time and then just hold space. And that'll launch you exactly where you need to go. Go near the edge there and then carefully maneuver yourself off there. Very easy thrust jump. That button is there only to activate this platform, so you can't just jump down there from the top. I think this is one of the first of many sort of upwards momentum jumps with trusses, where you have to hold D or A, anything like that, and then jump. I remember like playing around with these and thinking they were way too underutilized in towers, so I wanted to put a lot of them in TOF. I think they've kind of become like a trademark of its gameplay. Aim sort of 45 degrees to that truss. You'll make it here and dodge the Gilbert roof. Press this button that activates these two zip lines. Jump right before this one. And now you can go back here and there's a new path. This jump is really hard. I actually nerfed it in the latest versions. I'm not sure how I landed it twice in a row. Relatively simple stuff. Climb down a little bit so you can get as much height as you can to reach the two-step climb up. Preferably without falling. Thanks. These walkarounds are honestly not that cool. I don't know why I put them in there and I don't know why I kept them, but it's fine. This jump was intended to be a lot more precise, but it's ended up being pretty easy. You just turn at the end, that's it. Oh, and this part also used to suck. It had these super weird janky wraps with tilted ladders, so I just replaced it with this. Oh. Much nicer. Now you notice that this very thin ladder is actually climbable. And you actually have to climb it. There's a button up here. You do it like this. The following platform appears. Now I do this jump in this sort of ladder flick way. I think that's what's comfortable for me. Oh yeah, there's also this zip line now. That you have to exit at the right time. And then climb into this weird thing. And do a one-shot walk around. This jump looks a lot more scary than it actually is. You just have to press space really late for both of these jumps. I still remember like building floor 4, I didn't really intend for it to be as long as it became. But floor 4 is actually decently long, as well as floor 5, but especially floor 4. This jump is doable with just a simple turn. Same with this one. They're both very much muscle memory, but they're not very hard either way. And I should just leave call in general because that's lagging me a lot. Swear, like, okay, yeah, now we should be close to 144 FPS again. This part used to be really weird and annoying, and then I just decided to add an extra ladder piece should fix it. So you can just do like this. This part also used to really suck. The dance clip had to be done at a lot higher, so you would have to hit your head. But now you can just comfortably dance clip through it. This jump is a little precise actually. See, I didn't land it with a lot of wiggle room. This part is also going to be updated. Right now you can just go up here. Well, I hope so at least. And just make it to the stress like that. But I saw someone like on stream or like in the showcase or wherever it was again. I saw someone do it by wall hopping on this part and I thought that was a lot cooler, so we're gonna make it this the force route. Not very hard either way, just cooler. And then that allows you to go here. As well, like, one of the parts of TOBF that I liked was how many times it just like left you dangling above the void. And that's something I wanted to do a lot of times. This part of floor 4 especially does it nicely because you have a view of floor 1. So you're looking at exactly where you'll go if you mess up this part. That's a simple wall hop. I really don't know how people do this part. The way I do it, I just like go up and then let go and then turn. So it's like this precise release. Maybe you can also like jump, but this is what I felt very comfortable doing. This is just a simple long jump, not even that long. This is a very long jump that's coming up. I always would like set it up really carefully by making sure I won't hit my head. But I guess it's not that deep. Just turn and then zoom out. Okay, it is that deep. Let's try a little bit harder. Okay. If I did it the scuffed way, then it works. This jump is kind of long, but not really. For this, if you want to do it consistently, just do it like this. Same way that you did the very first jump of the tower. Now we're nearing floor 4 end. This part used to be, well, this entire section, not this specific part, but this whole section used to be so much harder. It was actually really weird. Like each jump was just ridiculously precise for no reason really. I just thought, yeah, we should make floor 4 like have a really difficult ending. Luckily that's not in the tower anymore. So over here you just go in here, lodge, and then turn at the end. This jump also gets buffed. This jump has also been, this one has been changed completely. Right now this jump is just horrible. Like no one likes these types of ladder flicks or thrust flicks where you have to contend with a half stud stick out at the top. No one likes that. It's finicky, wastes time, doesn't really test any skill. So that's been changed to be a lot more fun in the revamp, but I can't really show it without the actual parts, so I'll just do it normally here. This is one of those jumps that, by the way, used to be really hard because you had to turn at the right time, but also jump really late. That sounds really redundant, but well, it's what you had to do. So this one also used to be pretty difficult because of this neon wall. But now it's not at all. And that's mostly the end of floor 4. Later on I added this darken effect. What's your hardest? My hardest is Tower of Hopeless Hell. At the time of building this tower, I don't even remember what my hardest was. It had to be like some insane. Probably like Tower Reddish Monolith. I would all jump a lot of towers though that were way out of my skill range, and that's where I learned a lot of the obbying tech that exists. I think it's also how I could even build this tower in the first place. There's no way I would have been able to build it with like the knowledge that a lot of insane skill players have. This part is pretty fun. If you step on this button, it opens up the roof. And there's also a jump boost over here. So it looks like this. If you miss a thrust, the insta-kill closes back on you, so you die. This is a weird thing. Hang on, no. This is a weird upwards slope lodge, whatever. If you just do it like that and press D, you make it up instantly every time. I think this is a pretty obvious callback to Tower of Blind Fate. I mean, it even has the same words. I decided to make the transition from floor 4 to 5 not use the pink or red neon colored parts. I made them white instead. I think using white was something Tower of Blind Fate needed to do a lot more often. Because, well, it had to do it sparingly, but at least more than just the final few jumps of the tower. So I wanted to do it here, for parts where the normal routing kind of stops, and it looks like some sort of divine force is helping you get to the right place. If you have a keen eye, you'll notice that this is actually pretty familiar looking. It is Morse code, so it just says 4 to 5 in Morse code. And now we're officially on the 5th floor. This part used to be a bit longer. I'm honestly really not proud of floor 5. I think it's my least favorite floor of the whole tower. It's a bit more messy. The structures are not as good as I wanted them to. Some parts are more open than I want. Some parts are more closed off than I want. Especially this weird section. And some jumps are just... it's pretty obvious that they were pasted in way later, which kind of takes you out of the flow. For example, this thing. What you do is you go over here, make a turn, lodge, and then zoom in, because it's not a corner clip, and then press F, and then turn. All the while holding A. If you do it that way, it works out every time perfectly. I really like the jump, it's just kind of weirdly out of place. Enter this lodge walk however you like, I just like to do it that way. Exit it however you like, there is a lot of wiggle room for it. And then go over here. For this jump you have to pause in mid-air momentarily, Or if you like just find the right place to jump from, you can also do it that way. Actually, that is a lot better. For what? Just corner flip here. Like that. This jump is kind of weird, but it should be pretty consistent. There you go. Now, for the routing of floor 5, I had quite a few things in mind. I wanted it to go everywhere, of course, but I kind of built myself into a dead end here. I still remember, like, when I was building this, it was like 2 in the morning, and one of my friends was like just blasting Dave Blunts in call. I don't think that was the best circumstance to build in, so the gameplay was a little bit bad. You can't stand here. Indeed, you can't. This little section is the most, pretty much the leftmost point of the entire tower, and it is completely secluded from everything else. You're just blocked off by a, well, floor 5 itself. And I kind of like that. Like, this feels like you're genuinely really far away from the action. This jump, I remember I wanted to make it a really long jump, and this was when I didn't really understand how Roblox physics worked. So I thought, okay, so if you combine this long jump method with like doing it mid-air from a thrust flick, you can do a really long jump. That's not how it works, I'm pretty sure. Like, you have to do it like that while zooming out. But it's easily landable without trying anything funny. This jump is pretty long. Okay. This jump used to be really long as well. How you had to do it was like always in first person, make this turn as tightly as you could, and then zoom out at the end because you just couldn't afford to turn and lose any more speed. But it's been completely gutted. Look, you can just do it with a lot of room to spare. Doing this jump while tilting and just pressing D instead of flicking is significantly easier. This used to have a lot of filler gameplay as well. That's been removed. Replaced by just this one large walk again. This part is kind of weird. I'm not sure what I was thinking when I was building this. I think I was trying to emulate Tower Watermelon for some reason. I guess I just really liked NoSaf's other builds as well. This is another jump that got buffed by Skid a lot. You just climb down and tilto and do it in first person with ghost mode. It's really not a huge buff. So one start to fit in. This is another one of those upwards momentum jumps that are forced. But I'm not doing it well. Okay, we'll just switch to 75 FPS, whatever. That completely nullifies a jump. Yeah, Spider. He's like one of the few playtesters of this tower, and probably one of the few people that likes this tower the most. I will say his support was definitely appreciated when I was building this. Helped a lot with motivation. This part used to have the same slope lodges as from the start of floor 5, but now they've made these conveyors. This is actually pretty precise, all things considered. Like, you have to turn right and then you have to release at the right time. If I remember correctly, this jump is the current world record on Flotage, set by a pretty OG player Teamer. And it doesn't really surprise me, this is pretty failable. So now we're here. Once again, the routing takes us back to where we started really, so we get a really nice view of everything we've done so far. If I can go back and quickly show it. I mean, look at that. This jump is another one that Skid really hated, even though it's not all that bad. What you do is you just go down and just do it like this. Just hold A, jump, turn quickly, and easy. He says it's failable, but I really don't see how it's more failable than stuff like this, where I actually have to do a pretty relatively precise turn. Now, the second outside of floor 5 used to have some really nasty jumps. This was one of them. Right now, this jump is easy enough that I can just... Okay, I said easy enough that I can just... Okay, I just really ate my words. Well, it used to be even harder, a lot harder. And that was pretty awful. Pretty sure this is the best way of doing it. Yeah, that's a lot easier. Go around here. And go around that cylinder. This used to be a bunch of wall hops, I remember. I thought it was way too silly to have that on like floor 5 outside over here. Well, I mean, I guess it doesn't really make a difference if it's inside or outside. You'll lose your run either way. Oh yeah, this is also where I started putting these chairs. That's a lie. I actually started putting them at floor 4 over there. Little section over there. I'm pretty sure one of these appears on every floor from now on. Also, some people tried to go up here, so I had to put a little indication. This part used to have a lot of filler gameplay, so you replace it with a conveyor lodge again. That feint thrust used to be here as part of the landing, but it was way too easy, so we could just remove it. But I kind of like keeping the old gameplay as like feint parts. It's like as if it's still there. Pretty straightforward thrust gameplay. There is an insta-kill above your head, so I wouldn't climb up. Oops. These jumps also used to be a lot easier, but now they're... Okay, still pretty easy. I just overshot that by like 2 full studs. I don't think I'll buff it anymore though. It's fine. This jump is like kind of weird. I'm pretty sure the inspiration was from floor 7 on TOBF. Like, this is a pretty unremarkable looking jump, but I remember it being pretty remarkable to me for some reason. I think it was just the weird way I built it with this neon pole. Anyway, you just stick out. This jump right now, as is stupid. It's just like, why? It's so hard. Maybe not so hard, but definitely compared to everything else. So I nerfed it. I completely butchered it actually, but it's not pushed to the main game yet. These are pretty much the last jumps of floor 5. You tap W a lot of times and then teleport to the other side of this ladder. And you maybe didn't see it, but we just hit this button over here. Oh, that's why you were talking to yourself? Yeah, that is why. I thought you caught on already, like 30 minutes ago. By the way, I just want to say this is the most unusual thing ever. Like, talking to yourself or streaming like this. It feels so awkward. Like, every word you say is just a little bit too loud. No idea how people do this for a living at all. But it doesn't matter. So you hit that button, which is colored like floor 3? Where was the floor 2 button of TBF? I don't remember, it doesn't matter. You just jump over here and that's the end of it. hit the zip line, and then hit this really fast conveyor. These types of conveyors are actually not real, they are elevators just masquerading as conveyors. That makes them a lot more consistent. So you go all the way up here, and now you're at the top. Don't do that, please. I really like this part as well. Like the transition from 4, 5 to 6. Again, one of the parts I wanted to mess around with was like the routing, and I wanted the player to be taken pretty much everywhere throughout the tower. But I also wanted the player to feel almost weightless at some points. So it would just like send you with these super high power trusses across the entire tower. I think that's a good way of conveying like scale. Anyway, hold W and just jump. You have a small hint. You realize here there's a button up here. But if you want to make it in time, you have to set it up first. So make sure you'll climb if you turn the right way. And then just jump. Hold space. Slam into the wall, hit that thing, and then you're at floor 6. I really like this little sequence. It's just so fun to do. And I imagine a lot more scary in real runs as well, despite not being particularly hard at all. Again, that's the difference between, well, a normal GBJ and putting yourself above the void. They're mechanically the same thing, but this is so much more scary. Anyway, the start of floor 6 appeared to me in a dream once, and I was like, okay, I have to build it. So it's a little bit peculiar that way. I think it's pretty nice though. This is also where I'd say the raw gameplay of the tower really starts showing its fangs. Beforehand, a lot of the jumps are kind of manageable, but from here on out it does start to pick up. Like, these are all, none of these jumps are like things you would see in TOID or CYV, for example. Like, they're all way too hard for that. Well, I guess that kind of counts for most of the gameplay we've done already, but still. Okay, it's not that hard. This part is also what was in the dream. It's really strange. If you push against the other parts, it gives you a lot more power than just doing on a normal X pusher. But you don't even have to do that. You can just high jump up here. Up this thing. And then hit the button you were looking for. Disables these walls and lets you go through. You can't go there yet, you have to go this way. Another seemingly normal long jump that has added some spice to, forcing you to shift at the last moment. That jump is pretty hard, I'm not sure how I landed first try. And this jump is easier, and I'm not sure how I missed it first 2 tries. That thin neon veil around this truss spawns the, or well, respawns the next unanchored parts, which are these ones. I don't know why or when I got this idea to just make this part destructible. I just did. You can now break the tower. This part used to be a lot harder. Got nerfed as per Skid's request. This part was also added by him. This is like something I would never ever build. I think it's a little bit too gimmicky. especially for something this far in, but it is kind of nerve-wracking to do, so I guess I'll let it slide. What you gotta do is get close to the truss like this, and then shift like that, but you have to do it at the edge of the truss here. Easy does it. There you go, perfect. See, it's very setup based, and that is stuff I kind of wanted to avoid in TOF. I don't really like gameplay where 90% of it is just setting up the jump and then reducing it to like 2 inputs. Or making it really easy in any other way. Because it kind of beats the point of the original gameplay. So a lot of TOF, like a lot of the jumps can be approached in a lot of different ways, but it doesn't really matter about the setup itself, it just matters about the execution. Like jumping late or doing the right turns. Okay, I am doing this really poorly. Just turn, go like this. You can hold space if you like to, makes it faster. Actually, that makes it easier because it skips the 2-step climb up, which you could probably fail. Direct reference to 4.5 of the OBF. Some simple ledge grabs. Those bottom neon parts are not collidable. I wonder how obvious that is, but probably not very. Just climb down, flick again. And just slot right back in here. This next jump is really hard for some reason. I'm not sure I'm like bad at it for some reason. But I've always struggled with it. I got good at it recently though, so I can now land it in like a few tries instead of literally minutes. Like this was so bad for some reason. This is pretty straightforward, just climb down, shift, there you go. This is the buff that came in later where we covered this part of the truss with the part, so you have to hit the other end. Makes it a lot better. A lot of these jumps were like made a lot earlier than when they were inserted, because I thought they would just look cool, and I had to wait until the moment to use them. Like this one, that's why it just sticks out for one jump. Also, this whole wall thing was originally supposed to be on floor 5, because that's what the original TOBF had as well. But I decided it would be more appropriate on floor 6, so we could connect to floor 7 with these giant kill brick walls. I figured it would work nicer, and I just didn't want to extend floor 5 any more than I already did with another outside. Just turn. Now you're at the no jump part of floor 6. This part is pretty hard. We're already starting off with a no jump bounce. I don't know, let me just do it. Well, okay, it's not very difficult, but it is difficult, and not something you would actually ever see in a consistency tower. It's quite devious. This jump is easier on 75 FPS. Well, jump, it's not really a jump, just a flick. But that's how you get the height you need for it. Okay, dude. Here, you just go in here, hold S, and then flip, and then hold W at the right time. Tap down twice so you get the most height of this flick. Like, no, not like that. Like that. So you can reach this truss without ever using a jump. Get as far from the truss as you can, and then climb as high up as you can, and then just zoom in. This was actually really precise as well at some point, but it's been nerfed. Oh yeah, this part, the second jump, the second bounce. This used to have a recovery obby, so if you failed this like really brutal jump 30 minutes into a consistency tower, a GBJ one no less, you could at least like recover from it. But it's been removed, so you only get one shot. I really don't know how like ruthless that is gonna be if people are just gonna pass bounces without much trouble. Oh yeah, for this one you need like a little bit of height boost, so you have to climb down a little bit, but if you do too much you'll hit your head on this part, so it's a very specific height you need to use to get it consistent. Go around here, go around here. Oh yeah, it's possible to get trapped like this. Wait, hang on. I'm not sure why you would ever do this, but because you can't use space, you're just stuck. Oh yeah, it's also kind of possible to do it that way, but you should never hit this. Never do this on a real run. Once again, this is also making use of how slope physics work. So you get the right height, and then turn a little bit, and that lets you pass it. If you don't have the right height and you don't turn, then if you don't have either of those, then it won't work. Also, this used to be a no jump bounce, so we would have had 3 bounces on 4-6. I mean, even now I'm pretty sure 4-6 is the hardest floor of the tower, and it would have been way harder if we had even more of this silly stuff. Anyway, climb this weird ladder, and at the top here, hidden cleverly, is the jump deactivator. So now you can backtrack, jump this way, go up here. Used to have walkarounds over here, but those are boring. The end of 4-6 got changed a little bit as time went on. I think right now it's fine. This pretty long jump over here. Fun fact, there used to be a really stupid skip where you could just like, I mean it's still here because it hasn't been patched yet, but look, you can just climb up here. And skip the entire floor. Literally skip the entire floor from the start. But I've made these parts Gankalite false. That's a pretty funny oversight. There's also a lot more brutal skips in this tower. I'm not gonna cover all of them. So you go this way. 1 second. Yeah. I really like how this part looks, with the 3 branches just sticking out and going to the next floor. Anyway, if you hit that button, you go this way. I almost died, I just noticed. Through this weird spiral. Now you're at the underside of 4-6. Also a pretty scary part, all things considered, because if you fall here, that is just so much progress lost. And you can see it. Luckily the gameplay here isn't particularly difficult. Just align well. I think like low roof gameplay and jank of this sorts, I mean they're pretty tedious to go through because it's just a lot of aligning and not much actual playing. But I think that these types of gameplay, they can have their place. And slow, methodical parts at the end of a floor like this are definitely one of them. Like that makes them from like a nuisance to actually horrifying to go through. No wait. Oh my god, bro. Okay, that should be good, come on. Dude, it's not that precise. I swear it was not this precise. It used to be, but I nerfed it. Okay, there we go. with this walk around, you're probably gonna find a much more consistent way to do that than what I just did. Don't recommend doing it the way I did. Go on this zip line, catch this truss. Jump like this. Get around this little stick out however you like. I think this is the safest way. Just like hold space. And just... I mean, sure, you're right. Okay, there you go. Just turn the other way. There's probably a safer way to do it. Go up here. Very easy jump. This jump is like, again, one I really like to do. Like where you just have this upwards momentum thing. Those are the types of jumps I just like doing. Where it feels like you're just kind of surrendering yourself to gravity. Okay, dude. There you go, finally. I had a entirely different vision for this jump at first, where you would like go like this and then like that. But you can just do this, which is a lot easier. Anyway, this is one of the very few teleporters I have used in this tower. I wanted to minimize the teleporter usage a lot. I think making the routing independent from teleporters and finding your way around the frame is a lot more entertaining to both build and play, because it also makes the progression feel much more rewarding. But here again I kind of built myself into a corner, and I think it kind of warrants it, like one teleporter. Because we've already gone like all the way down anyway. It teleports us here. This is a little space station. It is a reference to Galacticraft. This is roughly what that little Stardust space station looks like in that mod. Minus the solar panels. This is sort of like a mini break. I think more towers should do stuff like this, where it just takes you out of the action for a second and lets you look at where you've gone through. Speaking of, now we can finally discuss the frame. So the frame of the tower used to look a lot more different. I don't have a picture of it right now, but it looked a lot worse. And then I noticed that I noticed a couple things. First off, starting with what I thought about the TOBF frame. The TOBF frame always looked really balanced to me, especially from the angle that you view it in the Pit of Misery. It's like both of the lobes, sorta, they kind of balance each other out. And that's one of the ways that you can make a structure look natural, if it like looks like it can hold its own balance. But TOBF also had all these like neon lights, made it a lot more artificial looking. So it was this sort of blend between a natural looking object and an artificial one. I always found that really cool, and I wanted to explore that a lot in TOF. The natural aspects, of course, came in the form of those tree branches. That's where that idea came from. And I guess the sort of technological part comes in with the space station and the more egregious neon decoration. So that explains a few design choices made in the tower. What I was gonna say, right, one day I noticed that the first 3 floors were like, I put them in this zigzag pattern just to spice things up, but I didn't really know what to do with the last 7 ones, so I just kind of put them around. Then I noticed that 7 is the exact amount of stars that the Big Dipper constellation has, and that constellation looks balanced as well in the same way that the TOBF frame does. Once I realized that, I was like, okay, I have to do it this way. So I'm not sure if you can see from this angle, but the last 7 floors are actually arranged like the Big Dipper. I'm not sure how its Latin name is pronounced. Ursa Major? It's that one. It's the big one. It's probably one of the most recognizable constellations in the night sky. But that's why the frame is arranged this way. Oh, and also these weird neon symbols. One of my friends who should be watching the stream right now, sent me this really obscure script they found. And he was like, yeah, these are like the numbers 1 to 10 in this script that no one remembers anymore. And I thought it looked pretty cool, so I slapped the numbers on the frame. I think it's pretty nifty. Well, that's enough gawking at the frame. I think now we can... Oh yeah, Cistercian numerals, that's what they're called. I think, at least. I think there was one other thing I wanted to say. Oh right, yeah, the weird words at the start of each floor. Those are the names of the respective stars that the floors occupy. So like that star in the actual Big Dipper constellation is called whatever it was written at the start of the floor. Anyway, we can start with floor 7 now. Like for example, this is this star. Floor 7 is probably my favorite floor, even though floor 10 is probably better. I just like floor 7 a lot. I like the routing, I like the structuring, I like how it starts super open and just scary. I like the song, I like the first jump. And the second one. Both of them are just playing a game of chicken with death. Oops. W and S. I use W and A keys for this jump, makes it easier. And then you go this way. Carefully maneuver here. This used to be so much more janky. Okay, it wasn't that janky, and it still isn't right now. Come on, just quickly go through it. There we go. Then you corner flip to the outside. Well, I guess both sections were outside anyway, but this is outside the frame. This jump, this is pretty fun. So the way I do it is, I use D to jump up, and you can see that little indicator appears. So that's a flip part. And under that flip part is a wall hop. So it looks like this. Oops. An absolute finger breaker of a jump. I really love it. I hope no one's gonna finger lock on that on a real run, but it's entirely possible. It should get consistent though, so nothing to worry about. So wall hop over here. And then you teleport back in, and now this is something I really like. Something I discovered, I think, or at least I haven't seen anyone else use it this way. So if you build a ladder with like 2 of these parts instead of 1, and you tap W, I think your character like clips into the. What happens is your character clips into the bottom part, treats the top as like a part you can jump off from, and it does this. So I'm just tapping W, and it's launching me up consistently. You can harness this height into your normal jump to get this ridiculous height boost. Like, look at this. You did it right, and if you tilt, and then hold A and jump, there is no way in hell you can make it that high up, that far. Like, there's no traditional shift flick method. Look, you don't even get close. If you like try to get down to get a little more height, you don't even get close. But if you do it like this, easy. It's like one of my favorite things ever. There's a few more of these jumps in the rest of the tower. I didn't want to spam it, but it's really cool tech, and I like it. Next up, this other lodge thingy. Used to be a lot harder where you had to like maneuver your way to the end and then like slowly turn and zoom out, but now you can just do it however you like, really. Now we're on the top of this weird arc structure, and have to take another leap of faith into this lodge walk. Always fun to terrify the player a little bit. As well with this lodge walk, flick into another lodge walk. And now we're past the first quarter of 7. This jump is also just really nice. I like it. Again, it just completely leaves you at the mercy of gravity. But actually not really, because this is a really forgivable jump. You can overshoot it by like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as many trust pieces as you really want to. However, this is the type of jump that you can fill in a lot of different ways, so I think you'll appreciate the extra margin. Up boost, go here. I think I did like this way. Just, oops. Hold A and S, and just press F and jump like that. Or do it this way, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's easier, never mind. You get launched to this weird sort of monolith, whatever, rock shard. I think it was inspired from one of Blocker's tier 50 novice he made. It looked like this. I was completely puzzled by it, so I was like, okay, I have to build something like that. This jump used to be so much cooler. You had to like align it this way, hold W, space, but also tap A in the middle. If you didn't do that A tap, it just wouldn't work. But I nerfed it since, and now it's you can just do it with holding W. Oh well. Press F here. There was also a lot more bullshit that you had to do over here. You had to like use upwards momentum in the same way that you had to do one of the jumps with floor 4. And it was a lot more tight. But I just put a corner flip over it and called it a day because no one wanted to do that on floor 7. My voice is getting really sore. Let me get a sip of water. That's much better. Go over here, hold space if you like to. I wouldn't do it in the real run, it can fling you sometimes. There is the first chair. Wait, no, there's 3 chairs. There's 1 chair over there, 1 chair over here, and 1 chair down there. You can't really go on this one ever though. You can visit the other 2 ones, but not that one down there. I think I forgot to point out where the chair was at floor 6 as well. Wait. I don't think there ever was one. You can wall hop this whole part, but I am really not sure why you would do that. This jump isn't that difficult or hard. Go this way. And just go like this. That makes the jump even easier than it already is. Another one of those white neon parts. Whenever you use them, like if you use them rarely, then they work so much better when you do use them. Oh yeah, that conveyor is put on one of those branches. I think I just naturally built upwards to this branch and I was like, wait a second, I can do it this way. Put the conveyor there and have it feel a lot more natural. This part is well, I mean, I guess you can tell by the half insta-kills, but all of this is insta-kill, so don't touch it. So is this. Yeah, those neon parts will kill you as well. So you go down this vent shaft, catch this truss. Somehow that's clipping, but that's okay. Go down here, and quickly flick. This part is kind of fun. It looks so much harder than it actually is. You just hold W and turn. The further you go, the more you have to turn. But at some point, you'll have to do these little flicks. Like this. I think this was inspired by one part on TOVH. Anyway, you don't have to get that very far. This should suffice. What you do is you just turn, and then catch a truss. Or catch a ladder. This is a lot easier than I'm making it look right now. I swear I landed it every try. Anyway, that release is just really satisfying for some reason. It's like, the best thing I can compare it to is like pulling a bit of string cheese. That's the best metaphor I have. It is just as satisfying in the same way. So go over here next, do this little flick. Once again, control your height with a little bit of tilt to make it over here. Go this way, catch this ladder, catch this truss I mean. This truss like wasn't built correctly, so I put a double part here so it has the same issue, but that's not actually like intended. Like right now you're meant to do this. But maybe I can like harness this height boost somewhere else anyway. Or put it into an update. Who knows? Anyway, it's just lucky here because you are lucky. Because this used to be so much harder. This truss wasn't here, and this part above this neon rod wasn't there as well. What you had to do was like, you had to do another no jump bounce, but also wrap at the same time and catch the truss down there. I think that was by far the hardest jump this tower had ever had in its history. And it will not be missed. That was atrocious. Especially on floor 7, that would make this a nil tower easily. So go this way. I originally wanted to put the jump deactivator over here, and then do this jump like just climbing down, tilting, and then doing it like this. Okay, I guess we're not doing that today. Okay, you get the idea. It clearly was not consistent enough for some reason, so I just decided not to bother. Pretty fun jump over here. By the way, some parts of 7 are actually one of the only parts of the tower where you can actually save if you fall. But it's not an easy net though. If you like fall down there, you still have to redo 6 and then parts of 7. So that's how I want to do like handle nets in any tower anyway. I don't want it to be like a full net on any part of gameplay, other than some very small exceptions. I think having a full net kind of invalidates the gameplay. It makes it really pointless and just a waste of time. Because if you fall, you can just try again and again and again. You have infinite attempts. But if you have a net that catches you but forces you to do some unsafe gameplay, then it still feels like there are stakes, but it's more forgiving. Pretty much every normal tower has nets like that without really noticing it. But I noticed some consistency towers don't really do it. Instead of having like those partial nets, they either use full punishment or have those full safety nets. The latter is a lot more annoying than the former, funnily enough. Anyway, do this long jump, or this long flick, whatever. I wanted to do it like, I built this way with this jump with a very specific vision in mind, and I found that it was easily cheesable, so in order to fix that completely, I just put jump removers. Small text. What you just do is climb down and just flick. That's all you gotta do. Get this. Small motivational message because you just made it through the more janky parts of floor 7. Or the more tech-based ones, I guess. The last few jumps are pretty straightforward in comparison. Other than this maybe. This long jump is pretty scary. It's also right above the insta-kills here, so if you fall, it's just over. You can get around this truss in many ways. You can do this. Actually, maybe don't do that. I just do /E dance. Go like this. And we want the extra height, so we go extra low. And that's how you get the jump 100% of the time. Okay, this jump is not that hard. There you go. The floor ends with a sort of mini reverse drop thing. If you just go in the corner and press space, you can go much faster without any risk. Now we're at floor 8. After building floor 7, I was really proud of myself, and I realized I had to completely run out of ideas, so floor 8 starts off quite bland. I wasn't too proud of it at the time, but I think floor 8 looks nice enough to kind of mask its boringness. It also got buffed, of course. This floor used to be easy, then Scale was like, no, we're not gonna do that. And it's actually a pretty formidable floor now. But not yet. Another one of those push lodges, except with a single part now and not a cylinder. This is where one of those original slope lodges are still in, or wedge lodges, or whatever you want to call them, because they just work here. You can do that jump on 144 FPS, but I would still switch to 75 if it was in a real run. You don't want to risk just flinging off. This jump is kind of weird. It's like easy but hard. And it's because there is a push lodge at the end that you have to make use of. But it's kind of weird. Sometimes I'll land it like many times in a row. Sometimes I don't land it at all. And one of those times is right now. I'm pretty sure for actual good players at the game this isn't that huge of a spike. They just, like, those people know what they're doing. I clearly don't though. Let me get some more water. All right. Okay, it's hard. It's a hard jump, but it's not this hard. Come on. Oh wait, I'm misreading it completely. This neon part is not sticking out at all. Okay, this is gotta be a joke. Have I even gotten close? What if I just do it like this with my scroll wheel? Okay, there we go. With the scroll wheel is much easier. 1 second. Anyway, now we're past this really hard jumps. The next ones are pretty straightforward. I guess other than this one, it's a little weirdly built, but that's fine. But yeah, a lot of floor 8, I wasn't proud of it at the time I built it. I think it was just too basic gameplay, especially after how techy floor 7 was. But in hindsight, I think floor 8 just does its own thing, and it's alright. Anyway, that was supposed to be like the first round. Originally I wanted the first inside of floor 8 to go all around the middle and be mostly safe, and then only then go down here. But I figured just one semicircle is good enough. The text down there is pretty appropriate. Don't hit those insta kills, by the way. And now you go down here. A lot of floor 8, actually the majority of floor 8 is outside, which is similar to Tower of Blind Fates floor 9. Again, it makes no difference gameplay wise, but it makes it a lot more intimidating. Jump down there to get the zipline. Do this. This is gameplay I'm actually quite proud of. Like, it's simple, but for some reason it just works. Like, it's really structurally satisfying. It also flows quite nicely. Look at that. Lovely. Another one of those upwards momentum jumps. This jump is kind of difficult. Never mind, easy. This is a weird, was supposed to be more janky, but you can just go down here. That's fine. Another jump I really like is this one. Again, you're just praying for the best. Look at that. I imagine this is not the view you really want to see ever playing an obby. Being this high above the ground with nothing. And doing this no less. There's probably safer ways to do that, but that's the coolest looking one. Can we play the train tunnels after this? Sure. That actually sounds like a great time. I think we'll be done in like yeah, it has to be no more than 30 minutes, right? There's not that much to talk about the tower. Okay, here we have another one of those weird ladder things. Where you have to tap W, go like this, and not get enough height. Hello? Okay, there we go. I promise it's consistent. I have no idea what happened there. Like, this will not fuck you up in a real run. Separate truss piece here, indicated very, very diligently. Long wrap. And now we go to this part. Oops. Now this part of gameplay is actually pretty old, or at least the most of it. You notice it has a lot more slower gameplay, focusing on ledge grabs that I later on in building never really use that much. This part of the beginning is quite new though. I like this jump a lot. You go like as low as you can and then just like that. Really fun. I like it a lot. But yeah, this low roof portion itself used to be at the bottom of floor 2. That weird like underside section that we just played earlier. That's where this part used to be. Okay, can we please exit safely? Hello? Thank you. This part was inspired from floor 3 of TOTRP. I have no reason to fail it at all, it's not that hard. There you go. The gameplay we just replaced was replaced. It replaces some older gameplay. You'll see it in a second. That older gameplay was much more boring, and it was at the start of floor 2, so I imagine if I left it in, it would make grinding this tower miserable. Luckily, that's no longer the case. I think there's quite a lesson to be learned in terms of like pacing your tower and when you want to put the gameplay. Where you want to put the more techy, slow gameplay, and where you want to put the more speedrunnable, simple gameplay. You want to put the speedrunnable, simple gameplay at the start of the tower. That's how you keep the tower more bearable to grind. Because the difference is, with techie gameplay, you can theoretically take an instant amount of time on it and not fail it ever. In theory, of course. But failing it makes you feel all the worse because you think, oh wow, if I just took a little bit more time. But when it comes to more quote-unquote linear gameplay, focusing more on turns, on multiple key presses at once, timing things well, whatever, there's no way to make it completely foolproof. So if you fail it, it just feels like, okay, yeah, that's a thing that can happen. Like, that's that, whatever. It feels not nearly as bad in my experience. Anyway. Some more simple stuff. When I made this jump at the time, I really liked it. You go this way, shift in midair. Hello, thank you. And then just hit it like that and climb this part. I like it a lot. This was also Oh yeah, back then when I was building this, when I built this part, I was always testing the tower on 60 FPS as well. Like I wanted it to be both doable and just, well, doable I guess on 60. And this was intended to be on... What the... Okay, there's some Z fighting here, I somehow never noticed. I should probably keep note of that, or keep track of that. 1 second. Right. Anyway, so this part used to be like a thrust bounce. You jump over here, you would bounce up and up and up. In fact, you would do it like this. Works flawlessly. Right now, if you want to go on higher FPS, what you do is just you flick out, use alignment keys, tap W. It should work. Hello. Thank you. You go down here, turn, jump up here. Now you're safe. Here's the chair of floor 8, by the way. This little part, I remember I wanted to build more gameplay in it, like as an actual part of floor 8, but now it's just kind of like the end. So this is like a little break. Go here. Go up here. Okay, fine, we can just do this then. Now we're at this part of floor 8, where we have been avoiding it the whole time. Very carefully grab the corner of this ladder. Align like this. Oops. And what you're aiming for is that's elevator. Which isn't that difficult to hit. I may change this transition later, because I don't want to even remotely risk it that you could possibly hit this truss and get bounced off, but sure, maybe for another time. Anyway, small hint, and this is where I have to go. Align, and just press space. Jump off here before you hit the end, and now you're in floor 9. No idea what this little bit of text means. Skid just put it in the tower one day. I was like, okay, sure. And it just stayed. I still don't even know. What was it from? If you're by any chance listening, please explain. I never figured it out. Like, I thought you just wrote something that came to mind. Maybe that's what you did. Anyway, some simple raps. This rap you have to like W and D to really make it. Also, floor 9 song is quieter now. It'll be raised to its proper volume in the next update. Another wall hop. Up here to this ladder, shift click and get in this little stud. I remember this part was completely made on accident. I didn't think you could fit through here, but you can just do it easily. And you go to this ladder. Relatively very easy jump. None of the other jumps on floor 9 are that forgiving. I remember I planned to put like an extra sort of weird maze spinner thing at the outside here, but I figured I wouldn't do that. I wanted the floor 9 to be sort of distinct. Like, a lot of the other floors kind of go in and out as they go. But I wanted all of floor 9 to be like these pillars sort of suspended above the insta-kill bricks below. It feels very like climactic. The song is also really nice. Climactic is the best way I can describe it. You want to aim for this thing, you can do this jump practically blind, it's really not that hard. I think floor 9's song was like... A lot of the tower songs were different before. And this before I discovered the other works from Hollywood Burns, which is a really, really underrated artist. And I was like, I have to swap out the songs immediately. So I did it for floor 5, 7 and 9. and 10. First, the old 10 song was so much worse. The current one is really good. This jump is pretty fun. What you do is... Okay, well... You don't do this. There you go. So you get into this lodge first, and then you get into this one. And in a real run, you'll probably do like this. Like that, and then... Whoop, easy. See, this is another part where those poles really come in clutch. They make that exit just automatic. With this head hitter, follow this arrow. I like the jump. It's really nice to do. Hold WNA and just hold space. You could not fail there if you tried. This used to be like you couldn't climb this and you had to do it the way I just did it, but now you can just climb it. I might bring it back that way, maybe. This is a more traditional no-sap style gameplay. And by that I mean it's more simple. I like this jump. You just go here, and then only at the end turn in, and it's pretty precise as well. Well, not pretty precise, but definitely something you can choke. I also like how it just dangles you above floor 8 again. Like the routing of the tower just takes you everywhere. And it makes it feel much more immersive and like you're actually exploring the tower. Anyway, another part where I figured out you could cheese is so I put the jump modifiers. You climb down, shift and WD, and turn quickly. And that should land it. There you go. Not that long of a jump, but I just like doing it this way for some reason. And that is really it. For floor 9 at least. Once you get here, there is hopefully nothing standing between you and floor 10. I mean, there's a lot of jumps left, but for example, this is realistically the last one you could fail. Just a long jump. That's why it goes dark here as well. Because once you're past this, you really are in the clear. I never noticed how cool the neon looks behind me. Anyway, this sort of mini dropper thing is fully netted unless you really mess up. If you want to do this, simply just jump, turn, and then do a head hitter. This part of the gameplay is pretty forgettable, but it's fine. It doesn't matter that much. And that is really it for 9 inside. This is kind of the point where I wanted to signal that the end is coming. So you have this little lantern pole, this platform, and one of the white platforms again. Okay, come on. This jump is actually pretty long. You can fail it. One moment. Anyway, there's a waitlist over here because, well, next part is gonna involve a lot of floating. So you go in here, hit this lodge, and then hit these elevators. I think I asked Get once, like, what's a good tower I can use for a color palette, and he just said CYV, so that's why these are colored after CYV. Anyway, you go over here. This is similar. Oops, don't do that. You go up first and hit this button. And then turn a little bit, hit space again, jump on this flower that will despawn in 2 seconds into this lodge walk, but if you do this you are doomed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's no saving it. So let's try again. See, this is just horrifying in a real one. Like, this is not hard gameplay, but I mean, I hope you don't have a fear of heights. Another thing I like about this part of gameplay is that you can always kind of see it as you go up, and it looks so disconnected from everything else, so you're kind of wondering, when will I ever get to this point? I think this like really signals through just positioning alone that you've gone really far in the tower. Like just from where this gameplay is placed. I hope someone at least understood what I said there, or what I meant. Anyway, you hit this button, land in this chair. You can also miss it, but maybe don't want to risk getting ragdolled. It's probably not possible, whatever. Hit this blue button. Pay a quick visit to group therapy, and then hit this thing. This chair will catch you. Also, this part kinda sucks. Like I should have added some deco under here, but whatever. And this platform looks ugly as well, but we have another one of those cylinder lodges. Then we get teleported to this thing. I think I was inspired by Stone Reborn for the dropper. Align with this. So you can hit a small button in the middle of nowhere that activates these trusses. Receive basic instructions. Follow basic instructions. I really like this floor crossing. It's such a nice reminder of everywhere you've gone. And this button part opens up. Makes this blue. And activates the zipline that goes all the way back up. Like, I wanted to make the zipline slower, but it started bugging out the longer you stayed on it, so it had to be kind of fast. But if it was up to me, I mean, maybe it is, because blockers scripts are more optimized and probably less buggy. But I would make the zipline much slower, so you have a lot of time to think about how far you have come. Like, look at this. What a build up. You're back over here again. Receive even more basic instructions. This fling is, I just copied it from Tocaf. It is very consistent and very nice. Look at that. Wonderful. You also have to do it this way, by the way. If you do it like that, or how you would normally do it in Tocaf, then you'll risk like not making it or undershooting it. If you just hit shift and space at the same time, you get a lot more distance. Anyway, go around this truss, this weird spire diamond thing, and there's nothing else between you and floor 10. That sort of entrance platform, by the way, was originally intended for floor 6, the start of floor 6. You notice it was kind of similar purple as the button from earlier. But I thought it was a bit too fancy looking, so I reused it for here. Anyway. I really like this entrance, it feels quite royal. This is the final star. The final chair as well. Oh, and our good friend here, Wilmo. He hopes you make it through the floor. Also, again, like the song is like one of my favorite songs in the whole tower. It is so good. Also, the underside of this platform looks really nice. I just want you to see it because you probably wouldn't otherwise. For the choice of like colors here, I had a primary neon, which is this purple one, and then I thought I needed a brighter one, so I picked this. And then I also wanted a tertiary color, which is this shamrock. Apparently it's called shamrock. I just say green. This green is like a direct callback to Tower of Blind Fate, floor 10, having the green healing spots, which is like the only floor that uses two different colors of neon to my knowledge, or like two unique ones. And it also is just a good color combination. I mean, purple and green, that's a classic. Anyway, so go over here, tilt, make this jump every time. The start of floor 10 is a bit long-winded and much more easy gameplay than or more simple gameplay at least. The idea was I didn't want a floor 10 run to be able to be shot down like the moment you got there. I thought that would be, well, really anticlimactic if that ever happened. So I wanted floor 10 to kind of ease in and give you at least a chance to get sort of far into the song as well. So you go this way. Do this stick out. Do this jump. You should climb this jump for sure to get all the height you need. Go this way. See, a lot of this is more... It's a lot less advanced gameplay. Even less advanced than like floor 7 or whatever. Oh yeah, this part is kind of scary. Actually, no, it's not. Easy, look. For this jump, you can just slash E dance and easily do it. This jump is pretty short, but it's also overshootable, so that's scary. Yeah, a lot of it's just pretty linear gameplay. Nothing really that special. Go to this corner flip. Jump over here. Climb this ladder. Go down and then upwards momentum to this thrust. You have very elaborate instructions given to you. You have also this line indicating it. And you're meant to lodge down here. I would align very carefully. This jump is not for the faint of heart. Okay, I guess we're not gonna do it in ghost mode. There we go. That looks very janky, but it works each time. It's just terrifying to go through. Pretty sure this is the lowest point of floor 10 as well, so hello. Welcome. This part of gameplay I call like the wall. It's like sort of monolithic chunk. I think I referenced the floor 1 outside of TOBF for this, where it kind of goes that way, then up again, then that way. I just realized you have no idea what I'm meaning because my cursor doesn't show up on stream. Oh wait, never mind, it does. Okay, okay, that's good, that's great. Go this way. That's a sort of a mini push lodge, but I don't think it really counts. Oops. This jump is pretty easy, but dangerous. Hello? There you go, whatever. There's another one of the jumps where you just hold D and space. This jump is actually pretty hard. It's actually really far. Never mind, it's easy. Go around here. And then go around here. And we backtrack. But this time a little higher up. That's a very strange slope ladder thing. A stick out. This jump is super on-side rateable. What the hell? No wonder I put 2 arrows here. Well, I guess it's a simple wrap after all. So now you go this way. Go over here. That is not meant to be Z fighting, by the way, should be fixed soon. And then you jump over here. This was the part of floor 1 that I recycled. I thought it would be a bit of a nostalgic callback if I put it at the end of the normal part of floor 10. So this is like the last thing you really play before shit hits the fan. You get a little thank you. I did buff it a little bit from its original gameplay though. But most of it is the same. Originally you were intended to do this jump like this, but you can also do it like this, which I like a lot more. Flick around, go this way. Reach this truss over here. Go up this ladder. I like this jump. Pretty much you just go here and then jump right into that jump boost. It will launch you into the lodge. Oh hey Storm. I think I remembered like at some point this tower was actually meant to be a collab between me and Storm, who is currently in chat. I don't think that plan ever went through though. Well, it didn't obviously, but I don't remember why exactly. I just built the tower and was like, okay, cool. Anyway, so you go up here. This is one of the first out of many obstacles that I built and then saved up for floor 10. I wanted all of, like the more creative jumps to be on floor 10, including this sort of lodge walk sequence where you have to avoid that insta-kill spinner. Now these jumps, these are just push lodges, just turn quickly. I saw some people struggle on them. They're not that hard if you know what to do. Another high jump like this. If you get close enough to the ladder and set it up right, you should not fail. Corner flip where you have to readjust. Yeah, I don't think you were like building much. So I was like, okay, I'll do it myself. This jump is kind of fun. Look at that. Just bounce into lodge walk. This lodge is kind of boring, but whatever. This jump is kind of fun. I had the idea like you need to make 3 shift presses. Wow, there's so much more Z fighting when the tower is much further from the origin. I did not account for that at all. Oh well. So what you do is you set it up like this, and also in this orientation to get the wall boost. You jump as late as you can. Press shift first to fit through the gap, then unshift to make sure you don't hit the side of your torso against this top part, and then shift at the end again to get enough footing to make the jump. Bit of a dangerous jump there. This is some more standard gameplay. It kind of serves as a transition between the more interesting parts. I really like this upwards jump. It just feels like you cover so much ground in doing it, but it's also not at all failable. Another upwards momentum jump, where I go this way. This jump sucks, I don't know why, but I just don't like it. I guess actually with a new scroll wheel it's a lot more doable. The last fling of the tower, and also the second one, sadly. Oops. That's probably a good way to do it. This part used to be a lot more janky, where you had to like sort of align like this and then jump upwards, but I felt that was too risky to put here. Maybe I put it in another tower. It's a pretty cool jump either way. Just too hard to put on floor 10 of TOF. So go over here, find this truss. And face the spinner. So what you do is you quickly flick to get some distance to allow yourself to do the jump. And then just hold W and D. This is a really cool spinner. I got the idea for this one, I was like, please work. And thank goodness this works exactly how I wanted it to. And I just messed it up. Realistically, you're gonna do this on 75 FPS though. Which is without this flicking motion that I'm doing. But it just makes me feel cool to do it this way. There you go. This jump used to be so hard. And then we have this double push latch. Look at this thing. So it's two really wide strokes. And then we have this conveyor. You just jump, hold D, and don't do like that. Do it like this. Tilt a little bit, quickly jump into the latch. Catch the truss, ideally. Go over here. And this is like the last. This is the last thing you should really fail. Doesn't TOP have a double push latch like that, or am I tweaking? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure Tower of Paradise doesn't have that. Anyway, so go to the spinner. You have to like kind of carefully go from each truss to truss. There is a way to do this consistently. Once you get to this position, you can safely jump backwards without thinking about where to land, because you should be focusing on your position on the truss instead. You get some advice, because these transparent kill bricks will insta-kill you. I'll explain the idea for this originally, right? So, this spinner, the original idea was that these platforms that I'm standing on would have an insta-kill on them. It didn't really work. Wait, hang on, let me get my train of thought again. So, you would be jumping on an insta-kill, but this spinner, this kill brick spinner, would keep you alive. Because every time you hit a kill brick, it gives you a bit of iframes. So you could safely stand on the insta-kill spinner and not die. This same mechanic was used in Citadel of Void at the end of the 21st floor. But it's a little bit RNG, I guess. I wouldn't say RNG, but it is finicky. And so I figured I'll just go for this instead. Where they're fading platforms. Go around here. Do this wrap. And make it to pretty much the last jump. You get an exclamation. And I have to do this little firefighter pole thing. You have to, it's like a continuous push latch. And you do have to hit 2 buttons on the way down, so you can cheese it. But these are ouch bricks and they are not collidable, so there is some sort of forgiveness. Basically, it's fine if you do the jump right and you have some wiggle room. But the damage can add up quickly if you mess it up. Oops. I think I'm hitting the insta-kill instead of like the actual. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Now we're here. The music used to be different and this song would only play in the quote-unquote win room. But the original song got copyright strike, so now this plays the entire time. I guess it's not really a huge deal. This is also the second time I think that the teleporter was used, or the third. This finale part is like also my favorite thing ever. I got this idea like once, I was like, I have to do it this way. So you have these platforms that are sporadically getting more and more distant, but thanks to the platform spinning under you, you can cross the gap each time. I modeled the spiral after golden ratio, I just put down like 36 platforms, I think. And I didn't even have to like tweak the angular momentum much, it just worked the first time. It's like almost perfect. Anyway, I wouldn't stay here too long because if you stay still it will slip you off eventually. But there is the clover shaped wind pad. Yeah, John, I really like this part as well. Like, this is my favorite thing ever, or like my favorite finale. Just takes you all the way around. I remember like wanting to make the platforms each go a little bit higher every time. I don't think that ended up happening. Oh, I know it didn't happen because we're here, but I don't remember why I didn't do it. It would have looked a little more like a spiral, but this is fine too. You also get the best view of the tower from here. Anyway, if you jump in here, you get teleported. And you get this slow motion replay of floating through the wind pad. I had a sort of fake wind room planned. Before you hit this it would flash to white and teleport you there. I won't reveal what it was exactly because there might actually be plans to put it in there anyway. So you'll see if it ever comes. Anyway, this is a reference to, I think it was Rogue Lineage that Skid wanted me to put in. And that's a tower. There's probably a few things that I've forgotten to talk about the development process. So I'll see if I can think of them here. Well, I guess the first thing I can mention is that how much it gets butchered by the low detail mode. I mean, look, all these towers vaguely look like themselves and then TOF is just this. Nothing recognizable. I guess the second thing I can mention is those roots at the bottom of floor 1. Those were originally not there. I got the idea to make the entire tower float above this sort of giant pot thing. It's kind of supposed to be like this flower pot, but a bit more abstract. I guess every tree does need a sort of pot of soil. Anything else that I can't think of? The color palette, I guess. I picked it because they were colors I used for my GD icons. Now, right now I can't really think of anything. That is probably it. And if I look to my chat, I can see this Shakespearean quote from John Flotage himself. Embarrassment is an underexplored emotion, so get out there and make a fool of yourself. I think those are words to live by. I mean, that's when I started this tower. I built it, I was like not really thinking about anyone else's expectations because no one liked Tower of Blind Fate but me. And no one was looking forward to a remake from it. So I thought, you know, I should just build it for me. For myself. I wanted to build the gameplay that I like to play, the structures that I wanted to see. All those things that I was thinking are missing from other towers. I was like, well, now's my chance to show the entire world what I want to build. So I went on and built TOF. I think that's probably it for now. All I have to say about the tower. I guess it's also, I could mention that it is probably the creation of mine that took the longest to make hours-wise. One of my other works in art called Slate took like 2 years from start to finish, but there was a lot of downtime in there. I wouldn't be surprised if TOF took more hours. Especially in playtesting the thing that took so long. But I think for now that's the most I have to say about the tower. If there's anything else that comes to mind, I'll just like maybe comment it down here or whatever. I realize this is very much overblown as like a guide. It's not really a guide anymore, it's just me yapping about the tower as I play through it. But at least you now do have a full recording of how to play the tower or how I play it. Those are probably not the same two things, you'll find better strats likely. But if anyone is actually willing to grind this tower out, I wish them the best and best of luck. It is one of the hardest things I've like played. obviously the hardest thing I've made. And yeah, it'd be really cool to see verified one day. I guess that's everything. Good night.